Hi guys, welcome back again. We are working on Unit 10 of Grade Time 5, right? And now we're going to take a look at the second grammar topic of this unit, which is on page 95 for those of you who have their books with them, okay? So, remember that in the first video when we talked about the reported speech, it was a review on the general ideas of reported speech, right? So, the change of the verb tenses and the aspects of the verbs and also some of the words that need to be changed in order to make the reported speech logical, right? Now, we're going to go a step further, a little bit more, because also when we are talking about reported speech, we can talk about reported questions and requests, okay? And here, a difference needs to be made. What is a question? A question is when I don't know something and I want to know this piece of information. For example, if I ask you, what's your name? How old are you? Where do you live? What did you do last week? Have you ever been to France? Anything related to the information that I don't have is related to questions. What is a request? A request is when I don't have something. And this something here can be related to information, right? But also can be related to what I want somebody to do for me, right? So for example, when I ask you, can you bring me my books? This is a request, right? I'm not asking if the person is able to bring my books. Well, I can do, but usually if I ask this, I am asking the person to bring the books for me, okay? So, in order for us to continue with this exercise here, another very important piece of information is you must have done these listening exercises here on your study guide, okay? Why? Because the first part is related to the interview that Daniela Alvarez gave to the students, okay? So, if you haven't done this part here, the listening part on your study guide, please go back there, do the activities related to this, and then come back over here, okay? If you have already done, let's just continue here. So, the grammar is related to reported questions and requests. We know the difference now, and then we have the first exercise, which says, here are 3 sentences from the interview with Daniela Alvarez, okay? Which are questions and which are requests, okay? Write the direct questions and complete the rule with requests with the words, okay? Requests, yes or no questions, or WH questions. But, calm down. Let's do part by part, okay? First of all, let's do the first part here from this exercise, which is we need to read the sentences and choose. So which ones are questions and which ones are requests? I want you to pause the video now and try to decide if number 1 is a question or request, 2 question or request, 3 question or request. Okay, so pause the video now. Take a moment, think about the sentences, and then come back over here. All right? All right, guys. So could you decide if they were questions or requests? Was it difficult to understand the difference? Let's see. Okay, so first of all, these ones here, they are related. They are all in reported speech, right? But they are related to something that a person said. And when the person said that, it was either a question in the direct speech or a request, okay? So let's see. Number 1 says, you asked me if my job was dangerous. Here, we need to understand the context. two people are talking and one asks the other, is your job dangerous? Is this a request? Is the person asking the other one to do something or to give something to this person? No. So it's looking for some information that is missing. Okay? So in this case here, it's a simple question, right? Now, number 2 says, she asked me to share a story. Now we have something different, right? Because imagine again, this is indirect speech, right? Reported speech, sorry. Now, in direct speech, the person said, what did the person say? Can you share? Can you do something? So, in this case here, it's not, the person is not asking for a piece of information that is missing, but is asking the person to perform some kind of action. In this case here, to share a story, right? So, in this case, we're not talking about a simple question, but we're talking about a request, okay? Now, number 3 brings. Just now, someone asked me why I do this job. In this case here, again, this is reported speech. Let's turn this into direct speech. What did the person ask? Why do you do this job? Is this a request? Is the person asking to Daniela Alvarez to perform an action? No, the person is asking for some kind of information that he or she doesn't have. So in this case here, just like in number 1, we're talking about a question, okay? So we have number 1 question, number 2 request, and number 3 question as well. Let's check. Well done, guys. Very good, okay? This difference between question and request must be very clear for you, okay? Now, going back here, we have another part of this exercise, okay? Which is the second part, where we need to read the reported speech and complete with the direct questions, okay? Now, your turn. You are going to read the sentences, just like number 1. You asked me if my job was dangerous. And you need to imagine the 2 people talking, okay? And what was the question or the request the person asked or requested, okay? So, pause the video here and try to turn the reported questions or sorry guys, my email is popping up here, right? Oh my god. Okay, now I think it's better, right? Sorry. So again, pause the video, look at the sentences, check if they are requests or questions, and try to write them into the direct speech, okay? So, and then come back here for us to check as usual, right? So, good luck. Go on. All right, so let's do this together, okay? This one is a bit more difficult than the other, right? Because you need to imagine how the sentence or the question or the request is. So number 1 said, you asked me if my job was dangerous. What is the direct question? The person is asking, is your job dangerous? That's a question. I don't know. Is your job dangerous? Is being a student a dangerous job, for example? This is a question, right? Good. Number 2, we know that is a request. So it must be a bit different, right? So we have here, she asked me to share a story. Remember, guys, this is related to the listening from Daniela Alvarez, okay? So anytime you want, you can go back to the listening and check the exact sentence, all right? So here we have, can you give us an example? That was what the interviewers asked her, okay? As actually, this is a request, okay, not a normal question. And finally, number 3, just now someone asked me why I do this job. And then the question is, why do you do this job? Right? It's very simple because here, remember when we talked in the last video about the changing of the verb tenses and aspects. Here we have someone asked me why I do this job. So asked me means that the direct speech is in the simple present, right? Because if I have simple past in the reported speech, it means that in the direct speech, the question was in the simple present. All right? Let's check and see. Well done. Very good. Today, we're very sharp, right? So, you have the 3 sentences here. Questions or requests. Is your job dangerous? Can you give us an example of that? And why do you do this job? Okay? Very good. Following that, you need to go here on page 95 and complete the rule. Okay? What does the rule says? The rule goes, in reported, we don't know. We use if or whether and the same word order as in a statement. Okay, so a statement is a different thing from a question or a request. Okay, now in reported, we don't know. We use the question word and the same word order as in a statement. We do not use auxiliaries. Okay, remember auxiliaries, do, did, okay? In this case here, we don't use. And finally, in reported, we don't know. We use asked plus the person, he, she, it, Mary, John, they, we, okay? Plus the infinitive. Then, what I want you to do now, I want you to check the 3 sentences over here, okay? Check the form of the sentences and see which one matches each of the statements here in the rule. And then you need to use these expressions here. Requests, yes or no questions, or WH questions to complete the rule. Okay, so pause the video, go back to the examples in number 1, see which one matches each form, okay, and then complete the rule. All right, then come back here for us to check. Okay, guys, so here we are with the rule completed. Okay, so check if your answers match the ones we have over here. So the rule, the completed rule goes, in reported yes or no questions, we use if or whether and the same word order as in a statement. Okay? Now, in reported WH questions, we use the question word who, where, when, what, which, how. Okay, these are question words. And the same word order as in a statement. And in this case here, we do not use auxiliary verbs. Okay? And finally, number 3, we have in reported requests, we use asked plus the person plus the infinitive. So, she asked me, or she asked Mary to give her her number. Okay? She asked her mom to, I don't know, cook dinner. Okay? So, this is the difference between questions and questions. We can have yes or no questions. What is a yes or no question? It's a question that the answer is either yes or no. For example, are you Brazilian? Only 2 options, yes or no. Okay? Are you a student? Yes or no. Okay? Now, WH questions, we are asking about the question word information. That's why every WH word is very specific. For example, where is always about a place. What is always about a thing. When is always about the time. Okay, so when we ask, for example, what is your name? You cannot answer the person with yes. Is yes your name? No, my name is Rafael. You're going to give the information that the question word is asking. Okay? Good. Nice. So let's move on to the last part. In the last part here, we have this exercise. So we have 2. Here are more questions the students asked Daniela Alvarez. Put them into reported speech and be careful with the word order. So guys, here is a bit more challenging, okay? You need to read the question, check if it's a yes or no question, a WH question, or if it's a request, okay? And from that information, you are going to follow the rule here and write the reported speech, just like the example here. So, the zero statement says, when did you start your job? So, when did you start your job? The first thing you need to think is it a yes or no question, WH question, or request? This one very clear. When is a WH question? Good. So, WH question. So here, in reported WH questions, we use the question word and the same word order as in a statement. So let's see if the answer here is correct, right? So, when did you start your job? We know that we have students and Daniela Alvarez talking, right? So, I, student, asked her when she had started her job. The same word order, okay? So you need to do the same thing for sentences 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Check if it's yes or no question, WH question, or request, and put it into the reported speech, okay? Pause the video, do this activity now, and come back later for us to check, all right? Good luck. All right, guys, so here we are. We have the sentences and we need to complete them. So, as we checked before, 0 goes, when did you start your job? And then the reported question is, a student asked her when she had started her job. Now, number 1, which newspapers do you work for? And then we have, a student asked her which newspaper she worked for, right? Why? Why, Rafael? Well, because which newspapers do you work for is exactly like number 1, because it's a WH question. It's not a yes or no, not even a request, right? Let's continue. Number 2 goes, where are you going next? Same thing here. We have a WH question, right? So, the same idea. A student asked her where she was going next. Then you can ask me, Rafael, why she was going? Isn't it in the in the present continuous? Yes, but then that's why I mentioned in the beginning. It's very important to remember what we reviewed in the first video. Because if I have, sorry, my dog is barking, okay? If I have a present continuous sentence in the reported speech, it is going to become a past continuous sentence, right? Same thing over here. So, again, 2. Where are you going next? A student asked her where she was going next. And remember about the pronunciation video. In the connected speech, we would say, a student asked her where she was going next. asked her, right? We don't say asked her. Asked her. Okay? Good. Number 3. Have you ever been scared in your job? Here is a bit different because is it a WH question? No, we don't have a WH word here, right? So, is it a request? Have you ever been scared in your job? Is the person asking the other one, Daniela, to perform an action? Or is the person asking Daniela a yes or no question? Have you ever been scared in your job? Yes, I have been scared in my job. Or no, I have never been scared in my job. So, in this case here, it's a yes or no question, right? So, the rule says that we need to complete as it follows. So, a student asked her if or whether, remember, the rule says if or whether. So, if she had ever been scared in her job. And again, Rafael, I can't understand why the question goes, have you ever been? Isn't it present perfect? Yes, it is present perfect. And remember, last video, the first video from Unit 10, we talked exactly about it. If I have a present perfect sentence in the direct speech, when I report the speech, I need to use the past perfect. That's why I have here, have you ever been? And here, I shouldn't ask her if she had ever been scared in her job. Okay? Nice. Now, number 4. Is your job well paid? Again, this is a yes or no question because it's not a request. It's not asking Daniela to perform an action, right? And it doesn't have any WH word. Okay? So, just like number 3, it goes, I shouldn't ask her if her job, and now, is your job well paid? Simple present, right? So, reported speech, simple past. If her job was well paid. Okay? And finally, number 5. Who's your boss? Now, is it a yes or no question or a WH question? Very simple. WH, right? We have WH question. So, who is your boss? Can I answer yes or no? No, it's very strange to answer yes or no because that's not the question, right? The question is, who is your boss? Is John? Is it George? Is it Mary? Is it, I don't know, Jesse? Okay? So, the question in the reported speech goes, I shouldn't ask her who her boss was. Strange? No, it's perfect. Alright? So guys, let's check our answers. I hope I have everything correct. No misspellings. Yes! Well done for us. For me, because no misspellings. For you, because probably you got all of the answers correct. Is that right? Guys, that is it about the grammar topics from Unit 10, okay? I hope you keep up with the excellent work you've been doing. Go back to your study guide and finish the other activities from Unit 10. And see you again, actually see you next time on Unit 11. All right? Bye!